Okay, and we are live. Hello, everyone. We're going to be talking about why education is my number one priority right now. It's either going to be the best speech you've heard, or it's going to be a pretty dog shit speech. But hey, I'm going to get up here and I'm going to do my best. Anyways, so, when I first got out of high school, I'm going to admit, like, I thought, I didn't need education. Education wasn't for me. I could just do it on my own. And I mean, I guess I'm exaggerating that a bit because I did kind of understand I needed education, but like in a sense I didn't, and I'll kind of get into that. But I went from someone who was confused or kind of like thought what they were doing, ignorance. I was very ignorant, right? But I took some time, I matured, I actually learned something, I got to know a few things, and now I'm someone who values education. I'm curious about everything. I think it's important to continue to learn, become a learner, and always moving forward, learning and being interested in having an educated mind, an educated environment, I would say. And everyone's always like, oh, where can I find education? I don't want to go to college. And it's like, you don't need to go to college to find education. Education is found literally everywhere on the planet. You can find it in courses, college, job, just a lot of jobs pay you to learn things. You can find it in books. Oh, the internet, YouTube, online books, trades, in-person communities, online communities, people on the street, free events, paid events. You can go to these networking groups. There's plenty. Like if you want to, let's say you get into real estate. It's like I was doing real estate for photography for a bit, and one of the ways I got educated was I looked up real estate events, and I went to real estate events in my area. You can do the same. You go on the internet and you can look up whatever it is you're trying to learn, and I guarantee you can find in-person shit. You can find online shit. You can find everything you need on there. Everything anywhere. Especially here in the like developed world. We're the most advanced civilization on the planet here in America and anywhere that the developed world is. London, Spain, Japan, parts of China, like most of the world you can get access to this, especially on the internet. But what makes me want to prioritize education? Why do I think it's such a priority? Uh, and that's why to break that down or like really validate this question is I want to take a look at three things. Two things really, and then the third thing. Literacy rates, skill-based economy, equals more opportunity. So let's dive in. Let's talk about more or what is literacy. So what is literacy? Well, literacy is the ability to read and write. Another way I like to describe it is the your competence, knowledge, or understanding of a subject or a topic or whatever vocab word you want to use. And the best way or the best example of that is saying, I can imagine there's two mechanics. First mechanic's been a mechanic for 15 to 30 years, right? Bob. We all know a mechanic named Bob. Crazy guy. He knows his shit. Versus the 19-year-old who's been a mechanic for 6 months. The Bob is probably going to be more mechanically literate. He understands it more. He's more experienced. He knows what he's doing. Just up here, he understands mechanics on a whole nother level. He would be considered more mechanically literate. You could argue that Joe Schmo here, the guy who's only been doing it for 6 months, uh, let's say he's only been a mechanic for 6 months. Like I just said, I'm talking in circles here. uh, he's probably more mechanically illiterate or not as literate. He may understand it, but not as literate in the subjects of mechanics. And so now that you understand what literacy is, why is literacy important? And I could ramble on about why it is, but to make it easier on myself and to be a bit more credible, let's just take a look at the stats. Starting off with a study done by, I don't want to get her name wrong. Let me check. Marin Blanchard from the University of Michigan. And she found in her studies that people and in areas that have higher literacy rates, uh, they have higher quality jobs and higher paying jobs. Coincidence? I don't think so. Uh, let's also take a look at an article from the World Bank, which states that high literacy rates are associated with healthier populations, less crime, and economic growth. Sorry, and higher employment rates. In many other organizations around the world, including me, myself, and I, not that my opinion matters, but we believe that higher literacy rates can help more community voices be heard. If literacy rates continue to rise, which they just slowly are, it could lead to more of what I just said earlier, which is less crime, healthy populations, which can have amazing results like lowering the cost of prison systems and lowering healthcare costs, making sure that fewer people are not needing everyday healthcare. That is a world I would want to live in. I don't want as many people in the prisons, less crime. And I also don't want as many people always having to flood the hospitals because they couldn't take care of themselves. That would be amazing. And all of this is within our society, and our society has slowly become, or actually has always been, what I call and what many experts call the skill-based economy. So, in our economy, when people have better skills or when they are very amazing at what they do, they are perceived as more valuable. So, skill equals value. Or when you're not, when you don't have the best skills or you have yeah, you're terrible at what you do, well, you're not gonna be as valuable. End of story. And so people always, come to me and they go, actually, you know what? That's such a lie. Why did I say that? People never come to me. But, you know, in these conversations, when people are having these debates, they always ask, and they always try to get you with that gotcha question. And they go, oh, well, if I'm a really good gardener, does that mean like I'm gonna make money? And then like you hesitate because you're obviously you go, well, no. And then they're like, oh, I got you. And it's like, okay, it's obviously not that simple. You know that, I know that. There's so many different variables uh, and things and factors that go into this. Don't like don't say those questions because that pisses people off. But now that I've mentioned it, I guess let's use that as an example of a hypothetical. Uh, So, I mean, if you were a gardener, let's say you were really fucking good at gardening, but that's all you knew, right? I mean, I could see you getting a six-figure job, lucky to maybe be the head gardener at an estate, or, maybe you work for a hotel or a resort, and that they really care about their gardening and they pay you a lot to do their gardening. But let's be honest, that's 0.01% of gardeners. Like, you're most likely that's not going to be your case. But this is where capitalism comes into play. This is where the skill-based economy comes into play. And people started figuring out, hey, ding, 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 I actually can have multiple skills and I don't only need to just have one. Huh. So you could be someone who is a really good gardener. You could also be someone who's really good at marketing, maybe proficient at sales, maybe knows how to lead people. Maybe, not the best leader, but, they know how to do it. Recruiting. Maybe they have really good recruiting. Maybe they have very good clientele onboarding strategies that they use, and so on. And if you combine all these skills, you could really become someone who's very unique at what they do, and someone who's highly skilled at what they do, and someone who can really turn that value into cash. And that's what I talk about. That's what I believe in, that what education can bring you is literacy, and it can increase your value within the skill-based economy. That's what I believe. If you don't want to believe it, you don't need to. I'm not asking you to. I'm just telling you why I value education. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And so, if you are, in my opinion, if you are literate and if you have valuable set of skills, I can guarantee that you are 99% more likely to be better off than someone who wasn't literate or doesn't have a valuable set of skills. If you want to fight me on that, then sure, fight me on that. But like, just just look at the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I'm also a emotional guy, but when it comes to this shit, numbers are numbers, man. And both these things, like I just said, bring you more opportunity. Bring you more opportunity. Never bank off of luck. Luck's never a good choice to bank off of. Always go through life. Actually, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to say I like to go through life not tr trying to be lucky. I mean, if luck comes my way, then sure. But I put this, I don't even know if I'm allowed to have this on here. It's an Adobe stock photo with watermarks on it. I just found it on Google. But yeah, this is what I believe the world could look like. This is obviously AI, or very bad Photoshop. Who knows? It's all distorted. I don't know. I think cities, maybe higher literacy rates could make our cities look like this. Who knows? I don't know. But that'd be very awesome. I don't really know where I'm going with that. Anyways, thank you for allowing me to share my opinions on why education matters, and why I prioritize it. Thank you, and goodbye. Have a nice day.